All right, hello and welcome back. And tonight we're taking a look at my new fancy little knife. I picked this little fella up. This is a Chris Reeve Knives Nandi. And this blade is made in Magna Cut blade steel. And this is the bog oak variation. So kind of one of the more standard editions of this knife. There's other variants. They've got different woods, different, you can get carbon fiber and stuff like that. I haven't seen any in quite some time that have had Damascus blades, so most of what I've seen that it's for sale right now as far as new knives is going to be in Magna Cut. But yeah, this is the little fellow that I just got. I've had my eye on this thing for, oh, honestly, ever since Nick Shabazz did his video when he had one, and it was in I think it was Macassar Ebony handle inlays, and then the Raindrop Damascus. Oh, what a pretty knife. And I've had just a crush on this knife ever since. And for me, this knife is like it's a gentleman's folder. So, think like a wedding knife. Like if you got cufflinks and a tie clip on, this is the kind of knife that goes with that. Or maybe just like a nice knife to have on you while you go out to dinner or something like that when you're trying to class it up a little bit. That's what this little guy represents for me. One thing I do like about it in comparison to some of the other knives that have kind of filled that void or that role up until now, it just seems a little bit warmer. I think the splash of wood really kind of warms it up a little bit. So these are the knives I've been carrying and using kind of as my, quote unquote, nice knives. This is my Spyderco Drunken, an S90V, and it's a very nice knife. Ultimately, very cool grind lines on it, and it's a handsome knife. I just think the more time I've spent in the knife game and just kind of figuring out what I like personally, the less and less that I like carbon fiber for niceness. I think it's cool and it looks cool, but if you're like after something that's nice and classy, I don't think that carbon fiber is the answer for me anymore. This is my Rayot knives. I believe this is the K1. I can't remember what this is. I've got a lot of knives and I bought this a while ago. I think this is the K1. And this is a very handsome, excellent knife. And it looks great in the pocket with this pocket clip. It's so cool. Part of the problem with this one is that it's freaking huge, so that's another aspect of it too, is that, I was kind of carrying these two knives as my, nice date night knives or whatever, a wedding knife, and they did well. But one thing I kind of also noticed is that I like a little bit more subtlety in my carry knives when I'm at, a little bit more formal or nicer public gatherings. And so this knife really kind of moved in and was in that role for quite some time. This is the Tactile Knife Company Bexar, or Bear, Bexar, however you say it, slip joint. This is in Magna Cut also. And this knife filled that role also. And it's an excellent knife. It's the most recent wedding I was in. I was a groomsman, and this is a knife that I had in my pocket then. And it was great. Even actually used the shit out of it at that wedding when we were trying to prep for it. And this thing is a slicey little boy. This knife's great, but also I think kind of what I was alluding to before with the wood on this one is that it kind of warms this knife up. So like this to me, as nice as it is, and it's a very nice knife. It looks nice, functions very well. It's a little sterile, like, I don't know. It's not that it's bad, and it's doing what it does very well. But this, just with the wood, it really kind of just warms it up a little bit, makes it a little more personable, maybe a little more approachable, less knifey, I guess. This looks like, if you're talking about wearing something to, a wedding, and you've got cufflinks in, and you've got a tie clip on, and you got a nice knife in your pocket. This is kind of man jewelry, right? So to that effect, you have the wood popping here, but this pocket clip also is very nice. I think it's a little bit of, I'm no art student, but this is kind of like an Art Deco vibe to me. It kind of seems like maybe you could see this on the marquee of a building down in Miami or New York or something like that. It's just very cool. And it's as always with Chris Reeve knives, maybe not as always, but more so than others. This is very subtle branding. So you have the nice little CR right there, and over here you have a nice little CR right there. This is anodized blue also, so the CR, the recessed portion of it is actually blue, like the Sabenza blue, which is way cool. I did take this knife apart, and it's what you would expect from a Chris Reeve knife. It's very simple, but very, very well made, very tight tolerances, and super easy to disassemble, clean, and put back together. I did take it apart and wipe off the factory goo and all that stuff, and just kind of clean it up and put my own oil in there. It didn't need it, but I just, I'm kind of one of those dudes. So super easy to take apart and clean back up, and it's got a nice little action on it, and I've really been enjoying it. It's very lightweight also, so it's super easy to carry this knife. So it looks great. It's very light. It's unassuming. So if you know uh, say a girl that your wife knows has a thread hanging off of her sweater or something at the Christmas party that for work or something, you could hand this knife to somebody and they wouldn't say, you know, oh my God, that's a huge knife. It's you're missing out on all of that, which is a good thing in this kind of a social setting. So um, another thing too that I like about it, just aesthetically speaking, is the contrast of the reflectivity and the satin finishes. It was always kind of hard to tell in the pictures until I got it in hand. What these Gen 3s, this is the third generation of this knife, what they were doing exactly with the finishes on it. So you can see behind the inlays here, this titanium around here, it's got a fair bit of reflectivity. It's not mirror polished, like you can't see my face or my phone that I'm recording this on, in this little bit right here. But you can kind of see that it's got a little bit of reflectivity to it. But here on the back side and on this side of the pocket clip and all the way around the top, and also so that you've got a little breakup of it right here on the back spacer, but the top of the pocket clip is all the bead blasted, and all along the top here, with the exception of the blade, of course, I'm just talking about the titanium scales, it's all Sabenza finished. The matte, blasted Sabenza finish. But here, it's reflectivity. So it's a nice little, just a slight contrast. So you have a little bit of shine, a little bit of matte. And that continues up here on the blade also. So right up here on the flat, that's like a bead blasted matte finish. And then you can kind of see the shiny parts right there. There's my edge. I took it to 20 degrees. I didn't go absolutely crazy trying to get all the grind lines out of it or whatever, but it's a very polished head. It's incredibly sharp. This thing is like a freaking lightsaber. Little baby lightsaber is what this thing is right now. But yeah, this is just, I don't know, it's such a well executed small little knife. It's like just because it's a small knife doesn't mean that they cut corners. It's very well executed. It's got a pivot bushing inside. It's got big, huge phosphor bronze washers. You can even see them sticking out. There's one. There's the other. It's just typical Chris Reeve stuff. It's very, very well made. It's super simple. The pocket clip, actually, one thing that was interesting that I wasn't aware of, when I took this apart, I expected the screw here to be the male end of it, but actually the pocket clip is the male end and the screw is the female end. So that was interesting. And there you can see the reflectivity on the face of the pocket clip. So yeah, it kind of throws the light in a different way. And also here, you can kind of see the shine, the polish. And once you get to the relief cuts in the lock bar, that's like the bead blast, the Sabenza bead blast. You see the difference? It's cool and pretty well thought out how they did it. Here's the lockup on it. I'd give it, I don't know, 35, 40%, maybe 40%. Yeah. So super easy to use. It's pretty. I think if I were to grumble just a little bit about it, just because I'm a consumer and I have to have something to bitch about, I think it would be the grind lines. That to me maybe takes it just a half a step or a quarter of a step back towards like the industrial feel that I kind of have from this all plain titanium knife here. I do kind of wish, let's just take a moment here. What a beautiful knife. This is a Chris Reeve Nyala. I do kind of wish that this blade finish was on the shiny part of it. It's ultimately the Nyala is less reflective. You can see that this is the Nandi is a bit more shiny as in terms of like ultimate reflectivity right there, but it doesn't have grind lines. You can see the grind lines here. It's like, just you can start to almost, it's more reflective, a little bit more mirrored, where the grind lines here, I don't know. I think I would prefer this finish on this knife. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just you know everybody has to have something to complain about, and I maybe I would like that. I don't know. This knife also has a very reflective blade finish, even more so than, look, there's my face. So like, see what I'm saying? So like maybe, but I don't know. Like, it doesn't quite flash like this knife. So I don't know. I don't know. Kind of torn about it. Not that it matters in the least, but because it is what it is. So, but overall, I've been very, very happy with it. It's such a thin, and like I said, it's incredibly lightweight. It actually kind of caught me off guard. I was like, holy crap, like that is light. Like, it feels less heavy than this. So I don't know. And I guess as it should, it's a smaller knife overall. But that's my new little sweetheart. I've been carrying it, and I look forward to the next time that I dress up. I've got a couple weddings coming up this year already, and looking forward to rocking this bad little boy. It's, kind of when you buy a Chris Reeve knife, it's a little bit of pride of ownership involved in it, and this knife makes me feel good. And it's a small, little, but well thought out and well executed pocket knife. And just as a pocket knife nerd, I appreciate that very much. And this is, filling a very small void that I feel like was missing from my knife collection. But I'm ultimately very, very happy that I picked it up. It wasn't cheap. It's very expensive. I mean, it's a brand new Chris Reeve knives, right? So they don't give them away. But overall, very, very happy with it, and looking forward to it. But yeah, just wanted to share, and you might see it around here more on the channel as we go. Take it easy. Have a good night.